Hey everyone, Miss Dempsey here. This is a guide for round 9 of the manufacturer series. Let's get this started. Look for the 100 meter mark on the left, as that will be your first braking point. Try to rotate the car as fast as you can so you can get on the throttle as soon as you can. With this specific car, straighten it out before you start to fully accelerate, as the rear wheels like to spin a lot. Now for Au Rouge, you have to get this line right. So you'll go over to the left, take advantage of the curbs. Once the curb ends, bring yourself to the right and quickly ease off the throttle for a very quick moment, then get back on the throttle, take advantage of this curb. Be aware that sometimes your front wheels will get air, so you want to make sure that you get your line right so you don't have to do any more adjustments when those wheels land. Look for the start of the curb on the left, as you'll brake right before it starts. These few turns are all about throttle control, so you want to be very patient and make sure that you don't get the rear wheels to spin too much. Look for the curb on the left, as you'll brake right before it starts, and once again, you want to be very patient with the throttle, as it's really easy to lose control over here. You'll also brake really early for this left-hander, and you'll want to throw brake onto the apex, short shift onto fourth, and slowly get on the throttle. Now this one's going to be a little difficult to see, but you'll want to start to brake before you reach this black sign that is on the right. You'll brake hard for a moment, then throw brake into the apex and slowly get on the throttle. Do not hit the AstroTurf on the right, otherwise you'll end up having a really bad day. Look for the arch just up ahead, as you'll brake right before you pass it, and for these two turns you want to be very patient on the throttle. Just try to stick to the inside curbs. Try to go for a late apex for those turns, then brake nice and early for this upcoming turn. Brake before the curb on the right starts, be very patient on the throttle, do not hit the green bollards as they do not move now. It's possible to take these next few turns at full throttle, but if you're like me and you feel a little iffy about your car, you can quickly ease off the throttle to let the car turn a bit more. This is the other turn that I'm talking about, this next left-hander, where it's possible to take it at full throttle depending on the car you're in, but in my case I left off the throttle just a little bit. Then for this final few turns, brake right after you pass the 150 meter sign on the left, and when you're in between the two turns, you want to be very careful on the throttle. Try to reduce your wheel spin. Once again, try to reduce your wheel spin as you're about to cross the finish line. And that is it for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and talk about the strategies. Alright, first thing to note is that the hybrid tire strategies are no longer allowed, as the game will not let you use multiple tires when you're in the sport mode race. Now onto the actual strategies. This one is going to be straightforward, once again because the hybrid tire strategies are gone and because there are no tire requirements. So basically you are either doing a one stop or a no stop. With the one stop, you switch on over from medium tires to another set of medium tires, and the other thing is that you can refuel if you want, and I say that because if you short shift throughout the entire race, you'll barely have enough fuel to complete the race. So when you're pitting, you can definitely think about refueling a little bit more. So in the case that you want to push a bit more, especially towards the end of the race, you'll have the fuel to do that. Now for the second strategy, this is where you don't go to the pit stop at all. You're stuck on racing hard tires, and you have to be very careful with this one. First of all, because of the fuel issue, you'll barely have enough fuel to complete the race. And the second thing is that depending on the car you're in, if you wear your tires out too much because you're sliding around too much or you're pushing too much, you're not going to have the grip that you need at the end of the race, and your car is going to get really sketchy. A good example is with this car, the Nissan GTR GT3. It gets really sketchy towards the end of the race if you're on racing hard tires. Now when I did the practice race with the two strategies, they finished around 6 seconds apart from each other, minus the incident that happened during the racing hard strategy, but we're not going to talk about that. So the thing is that if you're on the first strategy, you want to make sure that you push as much as you can while trying to save fuel, because if you start to go a little too slow, and you'll notice this during the first stint, as you kind of see on the lap times on the right side of the screen right here, those on the racing hard tires have a chance of keeping up with you. So once again, you want to make sure you try to push as much as you can just to try to build a gap from them, especially when you go to the pit stop, as it takes ages to get the tires changed and refueled and all that fun stuff. And I'm just going to show my quickest time on the medium tires. And also, that's another thing that I should note, is that when you're on your new set of tires, the car is going to be a little lighter because you have less fuel in your car, so your tires will last a little bit longer compared to those from the first stint. And just right here, you're about to see my best time, which is a 219.0, whereas my best time on the racing hard tires was a 220.5. One thing I want to note before I go, and this has to do more with the chart that I had up earlier, is that on the right side you'll see the total time I got with the best time underneath it, and then some notes that I wanted to point out when I was doing the testing. Alright, and that's pretty much it. I'm also going to have the direct link to the image of the strategy chart in the description down below. But other than that, I hope you guys found the guide useful. I'm going to sign off now, so this is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.